Hello, my dear friends. Mike Shreve here. Welcome to Quick Launch Emails, the pre-launch section. Really quick, want to show you, we have color-coded this document. This is the actual document that I used internally for our team to launch these emails. So you're going to see exactly how we set up our emails. So by the way, when I send client emails, this is exactly how I send them, just like this. So that's something to consider as you format and do your own emails. Okay, so we're going to break this up into two sections, pre-launch and sales. This video is all about the pre-launch, so let's go take a look at the first email, which was sent on a Friday in May. That sounds like a song. Okay, so this email is the first introduction that I am launching something. Okay, it's the first time anyone's hearing that I'm launching something. Several days prior to this launch, I didn't have any intention of launching anything. So we didn't have a product. That's how flexible Quick Launch is. What I started this with, though, is I wanted to challenge people. And what I mean by that is oftentimes people, they get sick and tired of constantly being played to, right? So, every email coming out and being like 37 reasons why you're the right person for this business and 97 reasons why you should buy from this. I started this interruption, okay, because normally I do the daily emails, and this launch I knew was going to be an interruption to the daily email where it's content, slight pitch, and then for the next week and a half or so I was going to hard pitch every single email. So what I wanted to do is actually start the pattern interrupt with the first email. And so what I did is I said, why you probably shouldn't start a business. So I wanted I wanted to really take a different tack than most people are used to, because that pattern interrupt, that fresh approach gets people's attention a lot better these days than constantly saying the same thing over and over again. So all I did is, I said why you probably shouldn't start a business. I listed some reasons, and then I made them go to a blog post. So this is still very high value content. It's a blog post I wrote, 9 reasons why you shouldn't freelance. And then I said, look, if you still want to build a lifestyle business after reading that post, then you've just confirmed the third thing I believe wholeheartedly. People who want something usually get it. People who don't usually won't. And so what's happening there from a psychological standpoint is I am putting up my flag, right? We talk about this in the daily email training. We talk about this in some of the other training, but I am putting my feet firmly on the ground. I'm like, look, here's the deal. I'm about to talk about stuff that's pretty darn serious. If you don't want to, pay attention, then don't. I'm not going to sugarcoat this. This is not going to be like what you're used to. And in that mindset, when I'm challenging them, when I've got them in the pattern interrupt, I then transition to say I've got something very special for people who, take this stuff seriously. So this email is about calling out the people who are serious because I'm about to offer something for sale. Okay. Now, from a personal standpoint, because this was an email that I ran for myself, not for a client, I wanted only a certain type of person to purchase my product. And this isn't like, none of this is fake. None of this is stunting. None of this is posturing. I was very serious in starting the launch sequence and saying, I'm drawing the line in the sand. I'm about to offer something, and I really don't want people who are giant pains in the backside to purchase my thing. And this isn't going to be right for everybody, and this is et cetera, and et cetera. And I learned this from somebody who's what's called a high ticket closer, which is they close in one phone call sales worth $25,000 or more. And one of the things that this person taught me was when you can give people the permission to say no, they're more likely to say yes. And so what this email does is it basically sets it up and it says, look, you may not be the right person for this idea. And without necessarily, saying it's the product, I'm saying just in general, what I've got cooking, you may not be the right person. Maybe you shouldn't, run a business. And by giving them the permission to say no, they're more likely to say yes because they don't feel the pressure of you trying to get something from them. So this is one of my favorite emails. And at the time of this recording, we're actually probably going to be re-releasing this product, and I will very likely use, if not this exact email, a variation of it to kick things off for that particular launch. So I'm very excited for that. So that is the first email. Again, all we're trying to do is we're putting the line in the sand. We're saying this is what's going on, and we are teasing down here a little bit about what's coming up. So let's go on to the next email. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and take a quick look at the email that was sent on Saturday morning. This is called The Impossible Challenge. Now, if you remember from the email I just sent, I've put a line in the sand. Now, in this email, which they're receiving the next day, what I am doing is I'm beginning to get them to start thinking about their beliefs surrounding the issue that I brought up yesterday. So I said, most people shouldn't start a business. Today, I'm going to talk about if everything was taken away from me, what I would do to get it all back. But the way that I'm doing this is by making the answer to that question the solution that I'm going to provide in my program. So let's break this down to see what's happening, okay? This is where we're talking about leading with the solution rather than coming at it with the product first, okay? So this is all about I'm asking them some questions to get them thinking, because again, we want to have those pattern interrupts. We want to get the curiosity going. Where would you start? I think I failed on the subject line on this one. I would say what I would do if I lost everything tomorrow, right? I think that's a little bit more contextual, a little bit more curiosity based than the impossible challenge, but we're opening up with questions. Talk a little bit about my childhood. Remember storytelling as a way to get interest going. And then if I had to start all over again tomorrow with nothing, what would I do? Sell blog posts for a living. Now I want you to notice something. The product that I sold with this sequence was how to write blog posts. And if you read this, after everything I've ever tried to make money online with blog post writing stands out. If you do it right, you earn $200 to $400 per post writing on topics you really enjoy. And I just talk about all of the awesome things that blog posts can do for you as a writer. Okay? I am painting heaven to the point where I said, if you really want to blow the minds of your friends and neighbors, you write 3 or 4 posts per day on Monday and Tuesday, then take the rest of the week off. People will start wondering what it is you do for a living. And by doing that, I'm painting a clear picture that they can sort of see themselves in, and they can kind of chuckle and be like, haha, that would be pretty cool. Right? We talk about turning into monthly recurring income, et cetera, et cetera. Now, how do I know this? I'm establishing proof now because I painted heaven. I need to prove that I wasn't just blowing smoke. Remember, anytime you make claims, you create doubt. So you always have to follow that up and capture that doubt before it gets too big. So how do I know for almost 6 months, et cetera, et cetera? And, I talk about my life now. And this is where I say next week, I'm going to be launching a new product I'm calling the Happy Writer. And I'm going to teach you everything that I just talked about. So we let it out in the open, right? And we're going to have seven days to get it 50% off. So we give them a reason. So remember, one of the benefits of pre-launch is if you're going to tell people about the product, you have to give them a reason to continue paying attention and a reason to act now. So you guys, we did this launch, $50,000 over a holiday weekend. So that's how flexible this process is. I forgot that we did that. Because while everyone is out barbecuing on Monday, I'll be dropping links for you to get early access. 7 days to get to 50% off. Next week, we're going to start changing some lives. And there you go. So that's this email. It has all the elements. You can see these are all the elements of the other pre-launch emails that we've been talking about. And you can see that these are being executed just in a different, fun way. All right, let's go on to the next email here. So this one was sent on a Sunday. Actually, I take that back. This one was sent on Saturday. The one before was sent on Friday. And the very first one that we were looking at was sent on Thursday. But this is our Saturday email. All I want to do here is to take an objection that I know is going to crop up from people that, like, I know, having spent time in this market, that the one thing people are going to say is nobody makes money in writing. Okay. Now, what I've done here is I've made it an entertaining email to read by starting with, I've used some of the daily email tricks that we talk about. Natalie Portman's advice to the struggling freelancer. That's interesting. Let me click on that, right? We're combining celebrity with, something that there is an issue for them. I open up with talking about a movie. People are like, is this a sales email? Like, you want to have people just be curious, like, what's going on here? I need to keep reading to figure out what's going on. Okay, so I connect this scene in the movie to the big objection. So instead of opening the email and being like, if you think there's no money in writing, you're wrong, that would never work. People would be turned off by that. They think you're coming too heavy-handed. Instead, what I've done is I've sort of lulled them into the email with this story, with a scene, with, celebrities, blah, 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 things people love. And then a lot of writers cling to this lie for who knows what reason. There is no money in writing. Now, in this email specifically, I did not hold back in what, you could say shaming the belief. Now, maybe shaming isn't the right word, because in today's sort of, in today's atmosphere, shaming has taken on, I think, an even more vitriolic meaning than it actually does mean. But it's okay in your emails to tell the truth and to not be afraid to tell the truth. So when I hear people say there's no money in writing, I'm going to lulls at that. I'm going to make a strong case. I'm going to fight back against that idea. Remember, in the standard webinar sequence, we talk about the sacred cows and just like getting rid of them because they're holding people back. If the only thing between a friend of mine who wants to become a writer and them actually becoming a writer is that they believe that there's no money in writing, therefore they're not even going to try it, I'm going to do everything in my power to help them to stop believing that, even if it means teasing them a little bit, even if it means that I need to be strong in my opinion. Okay? The more watered down you become, the less effective you become. Imagine trying to convince a friend with zero passion that they need to do something. Meaning you, in your efforts to convince them, you're just like, I don't know, just whatever. I guess if you kind of like want to do it, you kind of can, and then that doesn't work, right? Regardless of the sort of cultural pressures of today, people still respond to passion. They still respond to strong ideas. And so this is basically what I'm doing in this email is we say, here's the objection. Here's all the reasons why that objection is terribly wrong. So you can see we even pulled in a blog post here. This blog post is a bunch of writers who are earning six figures in their pajamas. We have just a bunch of stories that we're telling people of success stories from our students, and just all of this stuff. It's really just the basic argument against this main objection. And this is a pre-launch email because two reasons. One, is because in order for them to be ready to buy, they need to have this belief that there actually is money in writing. Number two is that we announce it here. So that's why I don't understand. Perhaps it feels better. I don't know. What I do know is etc. I want to help. It's been a long time coming and I put in a lot of work to get ready. This Monday I'll be launching a new product built specifically for the writer within you. You need zero experience, zero previous skills, and I'll be looking for just a small group of people who want to turn writing into their full-time bill-paying career. Keep an eye out for my email starting Monday. Until then, take a deeper look at some of the lies you might be holding on to that could be holding you back. And then I make a little joke here to keep things light. My favorite lie is that hamburgers are vegetables, okay? Not really funny joke, but it keeps things light and it keeps things going, okay? So again, this email is all about anticipating the objections before they happen. Again, another strategy that we use in our pre-launch. You can see how as long as you understand the principle of pre-launch, as long as you understand the principle of pre-launch, you can have flexibility in what you do. Okay, one more pre-launch email. This is the one that goes out the night before we do our launch. And this is, all this is just, an X number of reasons why something is awesome. So all I'm doing is selling the idea of blog post writing. And, it's really, really easy. So, number one, blog post writing is easy work once you know how. It's a great in with potential long-term clients. I get paid to put my name out there, and et cetera, and et cetera. So again, all we're doing is we're using the principles of pre-launch to get people ready and pre-sold on the idea so that when we launch tomorrow, which will be a Monday, they're ready to go. Again, this is just another example of how you can use the concept of pre-launch, of pre-framing people's beliefs, of changing the way that they view things, of helping them to get excited and anticipating what it is that you are doing so that you can have them best prepared for when you launch. And then of course, anytime you have any proof, you'll want to add that. Now we have a lot more proof. We have a lot more proof these days as compared to when I launched this, however many months ago it was, 5 or 6 months ago. And so when I relaunch this program to our email list, what I'm going to do is go back through these emails and add more and more proofing mechanisms so that I can do what I need to do to increase the excitement, to have more social proof, and all that kind of good stuff, okay? So that is it. And then again, here, PS, just noticing that we're going to be letting them know that it's open tomorrow, and then after that we're all good to go. So the next video we're going to be talking about all of these sales emails and how they all work together.